Call this meeting to order of the Charter Township of Bedford at 6:30. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would appreciate for everybody to take a few seconds here of respect and condolences for two of our residents who lost family members just recently, Trustee Shannon and the Shaw family. God bless.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Supervisor Johnson.
Present.
Clerk Baraco here. Treasurer Davis.
Here.
Trustee McKay.
Here.
Trustee Meinke.
Here.
Trustee Blanford.
Here.
Trustee Hoskins. Here. 7 present. We have a quorum.
Good evening, folks. Start off here and enlighten you on some things that are happening. It didn't appear on Facebook. Kind of took a poll, and it came up. They thought that on Facebook, instead of putting things that happen around our area locally, they wanted just to have stuff specific to Bedford. So I take this time here to enlighten you on some things that just might be of importance to you. I'm bringing this to you because transportation around Battle Creek, the routes that we got, they're going to be affected. So I'm trying to let you know ahead of time. The bridge at Washington Street is going to be down till September. They're going to start work on the Elm Street Bridge, probably this month coming. So that'll be another bridge that'll cause you some inconvenience. There's been approval and the plans approved and money's raised. They're going to put a roundabout at West Michigan and Columbia Avenue, but that's due for 2027, but the plans have now been approved for it. But they're going to start construction on another roundabout. This probably will affect you at Columbia Avenue and Beetle Lake Road. So you're going to have to be thinking about your routes. On M37, they're going to start resurfacing next month. And that does pertain to Bedford. And the other thing, this is important for those who are in that situation, the handy van service, flex van service, rides to work, take you to the doctor's office and all that stuff ceases from the Battle Creek Transit Authority on July the 1st. Now, there's probably other organizations, like the CAA and stuff like that. They may still be doing it, but Battle Creek Transit will cease on July the 1st. And that's it for me. Next on the agenda is clerk report.
Couple things, just reiterate, there's an election on May 5th for Go Lake Schools, and that's for KRISA. And the last day to submit paperwork for the trustee position that's open, as well as the supervisor position, is April 21st at 4 o'clock. So paperwork needs to be submitted.
Okay, moving on to treasury report.
I don't really have a treasurer report right now. I am just finishing up with the county, waiting on the county to get me back the numbers for everything.
Number 8, personal privilege on the agenda for trustee Meinke.
Okay, I'd like to bring this up, to make it pretty simple. If we want to. There were some names that were thrown out on a complaint, mine being one of them, and a resident. I don't like that. I don't think it was fair to me. I don't think it's fair to the rest of the resident. but, I'd like to know how it happened.
Well, I can tell you how complaints are taken here and how we do complaints. We get complaints that are signed complaints. People will leave their names and leave their address and their phone number. Sometimes they want to follow up. Sometimes a complaint will just come in. There's a pothole in front of Overflow Church. Then sometimes there'll be a complaint where somebody says, I would have liked to remain anonymous, and this is my situation. But when we get a complaint, I don't get every complaint. Sometimes they go to different places. But if I get a complaint, everybody's anonymous. I mean, I don't take somebody's name for any reason. I just want the complaint addressed. So if I get a complaint and it pertains to ordinances, I'll send that complaint over to ordinances. If it's about blight, I'll send it to that place. I mean, I have to send it somewhere to get a resolve. Now, your particular situation, and I was put on notice that the particular person you're speaking about doesn't want their name on any township documents or what have you, which I understand. It makes sense. But it never did appear on a township document. Complaint came in from a resident that put your name in there and put somebody else's name in there, but it didn't come from us. That was, I would take speculation. I also know in that complaint, it said that they had a sworn statement from somebody
Within the township.
So I'd like to see it. It never came here. I don't know who they swore to. There's no sworn statement. So that's all I can tell you.
So you're saying you can't tell me who it was in the township?
There was no one in the township. That's what I'm telling you.
There had to be, because the township was the only one that knew about it.
We always know about complaints, but I think what you're responding to or reaction to is because in that complaint, they said there was a sworn statement.
But the name still had to get to this gentleman for him to come down and do what he did.
All I can tell you is maybe it was speculation. The situation wasn't new, but nobody here released a name for any reason. There's no reason to do it.
He couldn't have just pulled my name out of the hat, because I don't even know this guy. I have no idea what he even looks like. It's somehow my name had to get to
Well,
it. And it was just people in the township that knew about it.
I say this, I don't think the concern you said you reported was a secret from you to this board about that situation. So that's all I can go about. I don't know how it got out there, and I don't know how he got your name. He didn't get it from me. He didn't get it from anybody in our office. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I didn't go down there and tell him. I know the resident that got his name turned in and go down and tell him.
And I didn't either.
What do you think, Seth?
Well,
You'd like to weigh in on it?
so look, I mean, I think Randy, you explained how complaints are received, right? You gotta, someone calls, makes a complaint, and then we send it on to where it goes.
Yes,
And then from there, whatever department it goes to, it gets followed up on, like.
yes.
And then after that, after it gets investigated, does it get closed out, or how does that work?
Normally, what I would do when a complaint comes, take it, send it to a proper channels and whoever it goes to. Then I want to know what the outcome was later. And then when I find out what the outcome was, if it was a resolve or if it's something we do or we had to refer it on somewhere else, that's so noted in the forms where I got my complaints. And I don't close it out until I get some kind of resolve or it's officially not our situation. So yes, I don't just take the complaint and then never hear about it again.
So once you received the complaint, it got passed on.
It got passed on to code and ordinance.
Okay.
Because that's where the situation.
That's where it goes.
That's the issue. That was the issue.
Was the name of the complainant passed on or no?
Was what now?
Was the name of the person who filed the complaint passed on?
No,
Okay. Okay, so then it went out and whatever happened with it, the investigation, I don't know if it's still pending or if it's closed, but that was the extent of your role.
in this particular situation, yes.
Okay, I read the complaint was sent to me. I know exactly what you're talking about with the sworn statement. When you say it's coming from the township, I think you're probably referring to the township, like the township employee, something like that,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, I haven't seen a sworn statement either. And I wasn't. I'm hearing that no one here, at least in this room, gave sworn testimony or made any, not even sworn, just general testimony, anything like that.
No,
Okay, I mean, that's what we're being told at the board meeting. As far as general practice, for ordinance enforcement, I do recommend that it's anonymous, right? Because a lot of times what happens is, like, someone calls in, I understand that. And then once it gets relayed to the appropriate department for, investigation, the idea is, okay, we want to encourage, not discourage people from being able to file a complaint without fear of retaliation. And in this case, from what I'm hearing, that's what happened. Now, I think with, on your end, Bruce, like, no one was in control of what was written on the complaint, right?
Right.
And that came in, and I understand how that you would feel upset or and offended and want answers from that. I understand that. These are the answers that were being heard, were being heard tonight.
Mhm.
I don't have any, I'm not privy to any firsthand knowledge, so beyond what I'm
Yeah.
saying here, I really can't address it more. But I guess that would be my input. So I understand, and I would, for me, yeah, I'd be upset, so I understand that. And here we are with, the discussion points.
Well, I'm also concerned that this don't happen again. Cause we have a lot of good residents and they're not gonna turn in complaints if their name's gonna be thrown out there. We gotta come up with a way to do it. So this does not happen again.
I understand your feelings. And I'm not poo-pooing off like you shouldn't feel that way. I'm telling you though, our procedures, we take all the complaints as anonymous. I mean, there's no, like just recently on Collier Road, it was in terrible shape. I must have got 20 phone calls in 3 days. There's no reason for me to mention to you that you complain, so-and-so complained, he complained. I mean, we don't do it that way. We just take the complaints. And if somebody wants a call back, I will save their number to call them back. But basically, the complaints are anonymous to us. I mean, there's no need to, we just resolve the issue. There's no special reason to expose somebody's name.
Can I add something? From what I understand is supervisor or trustee Mikey came to the supervisor, is that correct? Twice, and asked twice.
Yeah.
Just to actually turn it in or just to say he was concerned and then a follow-up. The township resident also asked and was told there was gonna be a fence placed or whatever the case. Those are the two names that ended up in here.
Mhm.
And that's the question. How did they get in here? We have to have that anonymity here. That's the question. It's not fair.
No, it's not.
No.
No,
Nobody
No.
agrees that it is fair.
here.
And he's getting accused of violating his oath of office. He's getting accused of harassment. It's in the pack for the township to see that what he's getting accused of, that he's done none of that. And it says that he's basically a personal vendetta against this person. I don't think Mr. Trustee Mikey has ever met this gentleman.
Never.
Doesn't know what he looks like. So that's all he's saying. If it's coming from the office, it shouldn't and it can't.
But I'm
Because-
telling you, it didn't come
Okay.
from the office.
Okay.
So now, if you want to get deeper into the situation,
Mhm.
well, No, no, it didn't come from me. No.
Okay.
But I encourage, anybody who has a complaint, there's no reason for the township to retaliate against somebody because they have a complaint. If a tree is down, if you pothole in front of your house or whatever, we wouldn't know it if you didn't tell us. So we try to address the issues.
Was that checked on the owner? Is Mr. Weatherall the owner of that property or is it Mr. Green? So Mr. Green probably should have been dealt with because he's the owner.
I know we have been in contact with him, and the first time it went from like 30 vehicles down was
Mhm.
under, I think he instructed them.
Yeah, and I'm saying this could have been prevented a lot, just dealing with Mr. Green, the owner of the property, and not his tenant, because he can't do anything.
Like a rental house, my dad's got rental houses. You guys can't really go after the tenant, you gotta go after my dad, And we should have done that here.
Well, your complaint, I guess we could say it because you said you talked to me about it. It's a situation that had been ongoing. It didn't just start with me. It had been ongoing. Then when another person talked to me about it, then I said, well, what do you want me to do? I said the same thing to you. What do you want me to do? Because nobody had done anything. So I'm the guy, I said, all right, so when I started a procedure, a process to address that issue, they got ruffled feathers because nobody had done nothing to them. So obviously I did what you wanted me to do, was start addressing it. And then when I address it, then they started pushing back.
From what I was understanding from Cody, I thought the problem was kind of solved. They were gonna put a fence around it. And I hadn't heard nothing for quite some time. So I thought, okay, they're gonna take care of it. The next thing I know, we get all these letters. So somewhere, somebody said something to him. I mean, you can say what you want, I can say what I want. My belief is somebody from here said something to him. But it, you just don't go from, he's gonna do a fence, I assumed he was happy, right?
He was willing to do the fence originally. I don't know what changed in him.
Yeah.
He did mention the cost of the fence, when Jim spoke to him about that.
That's cost
They
of
called
business.
me, I wanna say early December, and left a message about their lot lines. When I tried calling back, it just rang and rang, never even let me leave a message.
Yeah.
So I kept applying pressure and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But that's what you guys wanted me to do. And that's what I did. And now we're in this situation that we're in. And keep in mind, it had been carried on, that same situation for before I got here.
So I think we want obviously the situation resolved. It's just getting names out and people's names involved in this situation that's not fair.
I would agree. Who wants to be accused of something they didn't do? I don't. It happened to me.
I guess let's move on. I mean, nobody's gonna live up to it. I mean, I don't know. Everybody can. Nothing, I ain't gonna say nothing. Let's just go on. We all know how we all. It wasn't fair to me and that resident, and I hope it don't happen to nobody else. So. What's wrong?
We'll move along to item number 9, question and answer, board members with our township attorney. And it's turned over to you, sir.
Well,
For
I
this
guess where we
session.
want to start, right? I know there's several issues outstanding. Maybe the board should let me know where we want to start. Anyone?
I am good to start with retirement. We are biggest one to tackle.
Okay. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So
It's
I
okay.
guess just to start, the townships, their retirement plans through John Hancock,
Mhm,
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So the way it works is the township has, I believe recently, right, that you changed contribution percentages, things like that.
Yes.
And there was a resolution that was
Mhm.
done. Was that, I think, was that last month?
Yes.
March?
Mhm.
Okay, so I think there was a little bit of, oh, I think maybe it's already been voted on, but I think there was some questions that came up, just to confirm what it meant regarding contribution rates.
Mhm.
So I think I generally do understand it, but I think can someone else say it, like, repeat that so everybody is aware of what it is? 'Cause I don't want to state it. Like, if an employee contributes X amount of percent of their salary, then the township contributes X amount of percent. And if they max out, I think at 5% of their salary contribution, then the township maxes 10% contribution. I think that's what it said.
Is that right, Joyce?
Yes.
I don't know if you can explain it.
Is that,
And I'm looking at it right here, based on the following schedule. Employee contribution, 1 to 4%, employee contribution, equivalent match amount. Employee contribution, 5% to maximum, employer contribution, 10% match. Is how it reads in the minutes.
Yes.
okay. So my understanding of, I guess where to start with this. So my understanding is if someone's gonna participate, there's gonna be a definition of what an eligible employee is. And my understanding of that is gonna be full-time or an elected official. Okay, so if you're eligible under this retirement plan, you can contribute to it. And the way that generally works, my understanding is, once a month, payroll is sent over to whoever does your payroll. Okay, and that starts with, I think the clerk's office and the treasurer confirms, and then it goes over to the payroll company.
To John Hancock.
Right, which would
Okay.
include whatever people's paychecks are for their pay periods for that month. I think it's bi-weekly, right?
Yes.
Plus whatever the contribution is for the 401, the John Hancock retirement plan. So that's all. Is that all one lump sum then?
So it's, from your payroll, the percentage that you request to be taken out is taken out and it's written to a check addressed to John Hancock. So when the payroll comes in, there's a check for each employee that's contributing. For John Hancock, at the end of the month, it's reconciled and the township pays their portion. And then those checks are included for the deposit into the fund.
Okay, so that's the procedure for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know that I'm not sure if on Hancock's like their administrative side, but at least on the township side of things, I know that there's Joyce, you're the contact, right? That's listed on who
Correct.
can access it. I know the questions come up that, can another person be, yeah, that's a policy decision. The answer is yes. Okay. They could, who gets put on there. You could decide how that goes.
So the treasurer is on there.
Okay.
And the reason being is that we're on all of the checking accounts. Both of us are on all of the checking accounts right now. And so we have access to those, both of us do. So she's been added.
When
The
she
new
was just
fund.
recently added?
Yeah,
Oh.
the new fund has been submitted
Mhm.
and we should be getting paperwork back.
Okay, so do we have? Okay, like, see, here's where it stands, right? These are policies, I can't tell somebody.
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we have the main contact who added another contact.
Mhm.
That's where it's at. Okay, if those are policy decisions, I can't tell people what to do. I'm not sure how else to,
Mhm.
like, I understand there's people that fall every which way. They're fine with it, they're not fine with it, in the middle, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But I can't tell, I can't make it, I can't tell whoever's on that plan with it. So if there's discussion about it, there could certainly be discussion among the boards to figure out how they want to do it, but as it stands right now, we got clerk and treasurer correct on there. So that's really all I can really offer, just because I like I said, I can't compel people.
I understand, and I'll just say that I've asked numerous times to be added on there. Just because during the process of working on the retirement package, if there was any changes, I wanted to know, are we gonna have a penalty? And I discussed that with you.
Right, yeah.
Are we gonna have a penalty for any changes, any numbers? I did not get answers on my emails. So that's why I asked to be added on there, so I could ask some questions. That didn't happen.
Okay.
So now recently, the treasurer is added.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I
Okay.
understand, and right, stuff like penalties, things like that.
Yep.
Whatever John Hancock's policy is, I mean, it better be in there. If you're gonna get penalized, it should
Mhm.
be, there should be something like that. I haven't seen John Hancock's policy, I don't know what it says,
Mhm.
but, yeah, it comes down to policy decisions, and I just can't compel people to do things.
Okay, I got that. Thank you. My other question on the retirement was, breakdowns on the monthly checks. So when I went back, and as I had talked to you, and I'd mentioned to you, Joyce, before, that I knew it was broke down on checks. When Superintendent Beamish was here, he broke them down, and I did find one and printed it out just before I came here. That he broke it down, like the whole check was $2,511. It shows supervisor 520, clerk, retirement, treasurer, cemetery for Thor. So that's what we're asking for,
Right.
is that to go back on. It was on there until Mr. Beamish got terminated, and then somehow it fell off, and it's never went back on.
Okay.
So this was on before, and I can pass it if anybody
Yeah,
wants to see
I
it.
do want to see it,
Yep.
actually.
Yep, would you pass that to Joyce, please?
Oh, it's just, this is a different report.
Okay. What is that report from?
This is from, the SNA system.
Mhm. So if it's able to be that, then that's what, it would be nice to see
Right,
that.
so, okay, so it's my understanding, under Superintendent Demus, it was broken out a different way, more detailed, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mhm.
And then now it's broken out a different way.
Correct.
Okay, so I see it. I
It's
see
not
it.
broke down at all now.
It's not broken.
Mm.
I see detail, no detail, it's everything in between, right?
Mhm.
I understand it. I see it's another thing too. It's a policy decision of what people want in,
Mhm.
right? Who prepares the agenda, the information that they want, in there. And it's structured a certain way now that was different than how it used to be.
Mhm.
And it sounds like that there's a request for more information,
Mhm.
correct? So, yeah, that could be something that's discussed, sure. It's another one of those things, it's policy stuff, right? I can't compel people to do things.
So
And
we
I'm not-
have to do a policy or a
I'm
vote
not
on it.
trying to
Mhm.
pass the buck with something like this. It's just, I can't compel people to do things.
I understand it. Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like, if it's a certain way and someone wants to do it a certain way,
Mhm.
I can't control that.
Mhm.
And as far as what I see lots of detail. I see how it is now and everything.
Mhm.
So it's difficult for me to answer these questions because I can't compel people to do things.
Okay. What, Joyce, what is, you're the one that does this. What is your solution, I guess?
I can print that report.
Every
I
month?
could, yeah,
You don't mind?
I could, I
Okay.
read it.
Very simple. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate
you.
that. Let's experiment. Thank you.
All right, Seth, while we're still on the retirement resolution 3/10/26/7, going to the second paragraph. That adoption of the new plan shall sunset, supersede the existing retirement plan contained within the township's personal policy for new employees and or public officials after the date this resolution is adopted by the Township Board of Trustees. However, the above township percentages for employees and or public officials remain in effect for the duration of their employment with the township and or until the elected or appointed public official is no longer in office. So my question is the legality on that. With the MCL, as I read it, it said that that you needed consent to change that within the term of their office, which I interpreted to be a 4-year term. Is that clause, if you will, of the is that legal? Because it's beholden future boards to the same
Right. What, I'm trying to pull up that resolution right now. What board meeting was that from?
last month.
Okay.
It's also, if you've got this month's packet, it's in the meeting minutes.
Oh, okay.
It might be easier to get to.
Yeah, so my initial thought is the consent issue about whether it can change. What is that? Okay, so go ahead, I read that. Can you just repeat that, Scott? I was able to read that.
So with regard to public officials that remain in, effect for the duration of their employment with the township, and or until the elected or appointed public official is no longer in office. So the way I read that is the term of their office is 4 years. So say someone were to be in office for the next 20 years, are they locked into that percentage rate? That seems beyond the scope of the MCL.
So, okay, so the way I read this here is the above percentages for employees and or public officials remain in effect for the duration of their employment with the township. So that's however long that may be, right? That's what that percent says. And or until the elected or appointed official is no longer in office. So, or it would suggest to me that if they're no longer in office, then that doesn't continue, but they're not, they wouldn't be part of it anyway, they're no longer in office. So when you talk about an MCL, what?
So I'd have to go back to my meeting notes from last month, but which I can do. I have. It was like 65 point something.
Could it possibly be referred to like salary of the officials?
Yes.
So with salary of officials,
Oh, I'm sorry. 42.6A.
all right, this is the long statute here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, this is referring to a commission and an ordinance. So this. There's no commission that was created by an ordinance, as far as I know, in Bedford Township, is there?
Let me back up.
Because I think well, here, go ahead.
Full-time employee and elected officials for the duration of their term.
So, okay, under 42.6A, it says in place of the procedures set in section 6 for determining the salary of an elected official, the township board may establish by ordinance the following: local officials compensation commission is created. Okay, so yeah, that's an option. We have to have an ordinance creating that compensation commission, which I don't think there was a commission created to the best of my knowledge. So that section would, the way it's structured now wouldn't be applicable. There's no ordinance to follow. So I don't think a commission, to what I'm hearing tonight, is, it was never,
Okay, so it's changeable then.
yeah, you could, that's fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sets out all how that's composed of and a procedure and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready to move on? I'm
Yeah,
ready to
sure.
move on. You guys are, Labor Compensation Advisory Committee, just verifying, we've been through this.
Yeah.
We do not need an ordinance, correct?
Right. Correct.
Your basic thing was 3 residents is kind of a norm, and I'm okay with no board members. I'm fine with the 3. That needs to be determined.
Yeah, so I mean, typically with committees, compensation or similar, 3 or 5, I
Mhm.
typically see 3.
Mhm.
If you think 5 is more appropriate for your township, be 5, but that's, I'm telling you what I typically see.
Yeah, with our size, 3 is kind of the norm, probably.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's no, I mean, the board, there's no statutory requirement that, board member has to be on there, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's,
Okay, and then they can be paid, obviously,
yeah, so
For that,
the board
right?
can do
Okay.
that if they want to pay.
right? And then basically, we just need to set the parameters, the goals
Right,
for this committee, and then, how to advertise. So that's something that maybe we need to move that forward.
right. So my understanding is this was created sometime, I thought it was last summer, maybe in the fall.
April last year.
Okay, yep. And it was created, but nothing's really happened with that since. So there was no one is appointed to it, and there were no parameters of what it's supposed to do.
Correct.
So that's kind of where it's at, right? And now the board, you could talk about that. I heard the word advertisement. If you want, you could put an advertisement to get. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Whatever
Yeah.
you do is best for your township.
Mhm.
You could put advertisements, review applications, things like that.
Mhm.
That's however the township wants to proceed with that is up to,
Yeah.
is up to.
Okay.
So should we, bring our ideas next month for
I-
what we each think,
Yep.
and then, so we can
Yep.
put it together and get
Yep.
it finished?
Yep. Everybody kind of put everything together and, yeah.
Out of everything we've talked about so far. Shannon has been asking about that retirement thing for a long time. I think if you were gonna go with her, you should have maybe talked to Shannon about it instead of slap her in the face up in the meeting. Because she's been asking for months about getting her name on it.
So,
I'm just maybe next time we can do it that way, talk to the person that's been inquiring about it.
yes,
I've never heard a word from Christie saying she wanted to be on it.
so she is the one that's also on all of the bank accounts. So,
But that could have been explained to her, maybe. Maybe things would have been a little better.
Point of order, if we could address everything through the chair and we don't get cross talkie at the table, it'll go better, brother. It's all we're gonna do is spiral.
Well, I'm done. For
As am I.
future is all I'm saying. Would have made it a little better to talk.
I'm ready to move on. My next one that we talked about was payroll. Couple of questions and I'm almost done with all of this and I apologize. Payroll process, how does that work in here?
so, everyone submits a timesheet
Mhm.
that is not salary. They're signed off on by their supervisors. It's inputted into ADP.
Mhm.
It is, submitted. The funds, there's a sheet that I give that's funds that are required. I give it to the treasurer. The treasurer transfers the money to the payroll account. The payroll goes through. There's reports printed at the end. Then everything is inputted into the system, into the SNA system.
Mhm.
And then it direct deposits.
Well, and I'll tell you why this came up, because we had, last month I had said about that race for Randy, it's still showing on the budget. You said you did, and then you're saying in an email now you didn't. So we're trying to get that clarified. But that's my question with the payroll process.
Okay,
Who's watching that? Because in June or July of last year, we had a meeting and I asked about the payroll process then. And Terry said she did payroll and you said, no, I do payroll, you approve it. So the supervisor was approving the payroll.
approving the time. sheet.
Correct.
Okay.
But now our supervisor isn't approving that. Is that right? He's not approving, because he told me he doesn't see anything with payroll.
He approves the timesheet for his employees.
Mhm. Yeah.
He
Okay.
signs them.
Okay,
Nothing is processed, from a timesheet that isn't signed by the person that they, like the
Mhm.
deputies,
so my next question, ADP, you put everything in ADP,
correct?
okay, and then it goes through the payroll process. How does it transfer over to BSNA? You manually put the numbers in BSNA?
So, in the clerk's office, the deputy puts it onto a spreadsheet and then that's the second eyes, and then I input it into the SNA.
Okay,
And it all balances, everything is balanced.
okay, and then from my understanding, a few years ago, maybe not even, maybe a few years, we paid extra to eliminate ADP and do everything in BSNA payroll.
So we have to get a different server. One of our servers is not capable of handling the cloud. So we haven't moved to the cloud yet.
So we're moving to the cloud soon, we already approved that, it's going through
By September,
September,
by September.
okay. And then we're going to eliminate ADP.
We should if we move over. Yes.
Yeah, it's because it was paid. I know that was paid for. So again, just to reiterate, Randy is saying he did not get the raise, correct? But our budget is still showing that he got that. I just need the clarification.
Okay, clarification of this.
Mhm.
When we were in the budget process,
Mhm.
we put in for salaries,
Mhm.
raises. At that particular time, I said then I wasn't gonna take a raise. I submitted that to you guys in writing more than once. But we also said during the budget process, because at the December 31st, we were gonna go ahead and pass that budget and make proper amendments after we got the budget done on time.
Mhm.
And we did that because you held out 5 different positions.
Mhm.
And I was one of those positions. When the budget went through, it went through at the proposed in the budget, but when they actually, the people who paid the salaries, they only paid it at 63 because it was never, we didn't never approve me. I didn't ever get 65. Now, the quarterly that's gonna come out now, I've already talked with the auditor. This quarterly, it will reflect the, not that 65, that it just stayed 63, but it's only been paid at 63. And it only comes out quarterly. Now, as a matter of fact, auditors were here today. But when they do this quarterly, it'll show that I've only been getting paid 63 all the time. That 65 was just a proposal that never passed.
Okay. But is that something that Joyce, you can change?
So
It's a number. Is it something you can change in it yourself
So-
instead of the accountant?
but Randy is in charge of the budget.
Okay. So is that something you can manually change, Randy, or do you have to have the accountant do it? I'm just curious.
In order for it to be done correctly and broke down the way it should be, I mean, you're gonna see it in this quarterly, when they have a quarterly report and it will have made that. See, that number that you're stuck on, the 65, it never got approved. And I told you don't even have to argue about it because I'm not gonna accept it anyway. That's the number that you keep stuck on, but I didn't never get it.
But that's what we're going on, and you're upset with us for asking about your raise, and this is what it's showing us. We're going by what numbers come from your office. That's all. These are the numbers.
Could you,
So, okay, yeah, I looked into this afternoon, okay? I know there's the budget that was, and that's gonna say what it's gonna say. When it talks about salaries,
Mhm.
we need to look at the salary resolutions.
Mhm.
Okay, that sets the salary. I just had it up and of course I can't find it, but what it said was there was a motion that the supervisor's salary remain the same for 26 that it was in 2025. Okay, that's the salary resolution. The salary cannot deviate from that. It can't go down unless they agree in writing. And it can't go up unless the board approves.
Correct.
So whatever the supervisor's salary was in 2025,
Mhm.
that's what it needs to be in 2026. That is what was approved. Okay,
Mhm.
now I understand in the budget it says 65 or something.
Mhm.
Okay, here's what I think it happened. So, well, the salary resolution is going to carry the day. Okay,
Mhm.
not necessarily that number that's in the budget. Now,
Right,
there's gonna be some offices that have money built into their budget that exceeds just their salary, like if there's other incidental or something. But with this, it's salary resolution that's gonna carry. So if the budget says we're at 65 and something, and if that's the amount allocated to that office, okay, but the salary is the 2025,
Mhm.
that's the number.
Okay.
And that's something that, how does that get reflected? Is that in a monthly report or something, so we could confirm that's the case, or how does that
for
happen?
payroll, we don't see that.
Okay, so what? I'm not sure how that's,
It's, yeah, it's the new budget reflects it. Each month they get a budget report that has
Good at this.
all the,
so if the budget report then for the supervisor is just the salary of 2025, Randy, is that it? So that's what it should be every month on your budget, in the budget report. That it needs to, like, it can't deviate.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
so, like, yeah, I understand what happened with the
Mhm.
number in the budget
Mhm.
and the salary. The resolution for the salary is what carried the day,
Mhm.
not necessarily the number.
And that makes sense, but when
Yeah.
we're told he got a raise, then he didn't, and he did.
Yeah, there was
didn't
some back-
get the question.
Well,
and
who
then
told
we-
you that I got the raise?
Joyce did at the meeting,
So-
at the last select board meeting.
Well, I told you I didn't though.
so I said I would get to the bottom of it, and I did send you all of the paperwork to back.
You said you gave him full up.
That's, you know what,
Yeah.
I didn't think I did,
Okay.
but you seemed very sure that I did.
So
And,
that-
and I can understand how, looking at the budget.
Yeah.
That, so I thought, well, let me check it out.
Mhm.
And then I did and sent you all the paperwork that backed it up that showed he hadn't received the raise.
So one more thing and I'll be done.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the payroll, that's where I think that we need to see gross. That we talked about.
Right.
Once a month, we see the gross of the employees. We've never asked for anything personal, no socials, no nothing, no dependents, nothing.
Okay.
But to see the bottom line, if this 2 weeks their salary, if this 2 weeks they have 800, the next 2 weeks it's 12 or 13, that's gonna make us question, was
What's the difference?
was something wrong with payroll? Should we be watching that? So that's what I talked to you about, that we would like to see. if we
Right,
can.
so, okay. The way it's structured right now is just the monthly, in the budget report from the supervisor.
Correct.
Okay, and that just should be that portion of your salary for that month, right, for whatever January is.
Mhm.
If there are more specifics, I think this circles back to how detailed the budget, the information is in the budget. I can't compel that.
Mhm.
Okay, now, if you wanna check it out, like on your own, like if you wanna look at it, I think you could certainly contact the department and say, like, look, I need to order this information drives up. That's, do you see what I'm saying? But like, other than that, like, I can't compel more information. in the agenda.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Did you ask about them putting this in our packs? I mean,
I'm sorry.
was it discussed about putting just the gross in our pack, so we at least see that? We're not asking for anything else.
So let me see what kind of report I can find,
Okay.
or, yeah, let me see what
Mhm,
I can find that has it, that doesn't show people.
mhm.
We don't want none of that. We don't
Never, we
want
never asked. for it.
personal numbers. We
Never.
don't want addresses.
So a
Just-
total
just
of
the gross.
What would change? What would change?
What do you mean, what would change?
I'm asking her, what, you wanna know the monthly gross, gross, I'm asking what would change by monthly? Your salary,
I
you
think-
just get the same thing, don't you?
Yes, you do.
So,
No,
huh?
I don't, you guys are direct deposit. I don't mean to keep beating this. You're direct deposit. You're
Mhm.
not listed in our checks. We have no thing to see what you guys are getting direct deposit. We have no idea.
Well,
So
you're
we're
not gonna
approving
get
all of
that.
that.
You're
What?
not gonna get what I deposited. You're not gonna get that.
I'm not asking what you deposit. I'm asking for gross to see on the payroll that everything is going, or how are we going to get it where it's what, we're not asking for any socials or anything.
Well, you gonna know who it is. You know who it
It's gonna
is.
have your name on it and your gross, that's it.
And what do you need that for?
So
To
we can
compare.
compare numbers.
To put, to what? You can shake
Why
your
are
head, but
we fighting something?
because what I'm saying is, if you get the same thing every month, what are you comparing it to? Well, I mean, compared to what? What do you?
Not everybody here gets the same thing every month,
No, but I do,
no?
and we're talking about me.
I believe what the ask is for is just a level of transparency and accountability on the board for the fiduciary responsibility that they have to the township. I don't think that it's an accusation. I don't think that it's anything like that. It's just a method of tracking that some people would like to see. I really don't think that I really don't think that it's as intrusive as it sounds. Nobody is asking about your dependents or if you split that between accounts. They just want to see what did the township pay out per individual.
And this stuff, anybody can FOIA this. I mean, so we should have,
So my answer remains the same. Let me find a report
Yeah, I think that's,
that I can,
We'll leave it at that and let's
Fair enough.
move on.
I
Fair
think
enough.
that's responsible.
Thank you.
even a spreadsheet, Joyce, something simple.
okay,
Nothing-
let me see what. Yes,
Mhm. Okay.
What's your opinion on that? I wanna hear what you got to say.
I'm sorry.
Your observation of that.
Well. See, it's hard because it's policy, right? And I
Mhm.
see everything. Like, I see what's happening as is, I see with more detail, and it's what the township decides it wants to do. And I don't mean to try to pass on any of this, that's not what the intent is, okay? The intent, I'm telling you what I see, okay? So if there's a report or a spreadsheet that says something that, that says, okay, whatever the name is with the gross, and if that's there and you wanna produce it, then it could be produced. If someone doesn't wanna do that, I can't tell them to either.
Mhm.
Like, that's where it's at.
So then it'd have to be FOIA if somebody wanted.
Yeah,
to see it.
and
I mean,
see, I don't know what
Mhm.
reports or records exist either. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Mhm.
with FOIA, you can FOIA request something,
Mhm.
but if a record doesn't exist,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
the numbers probably exist in some capacity somewhere.
Yeah.
right.
But a report, I don't know if one exists.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I understand what you're asking for. I just don't know if that, if that exists. I don't.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll find
Sometimes
something
we
that
see
will
that.
satisfy.
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
but
we'll find something that will satisfy it.
Okay.
fair enough. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah.
No, other than the question I've already asked.
Does the board need any clarification on anything else? I'm here. I'm happy to answer anything.
Not at the moment.
So I asked the question.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
We're moving on to approval of the agenda. Approval of consent agenda item. Minutes of the March 10th, 26th board meeting. Payment of the bills in the amount of $79,403.32. Or budget report 2026, Battle Creek Police Department and Bedford Charter Township fire reports. You have those building and zone report, assessors report, and the planning commission liaison report. Move.
A couple of questions on some checks. When you're ready.
Is there a support?
Oh, I thought somebody
We
did
can
that.
discuss.
Somebody moved it, somebody supported.
Okay.
Discuss.
Yep, thank you. Shouldn't be down here. A couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
27540 and check number 202-314. both to AT&T Mobility the same month. The
Yes.
$393.94.
One came at the end of the month and one came at the beginning.
So that would be for February
So
and
one would,
March.
yes,
Joe Wolfersberger, 149.35, I'm assuming that's mileage.
yes.
And then the flag company, is that for cemetery flags?
The flags for the offices and the fire stations and the cemetery.
Okay. And in those, if a little description would be great, that we
Okay.
could, and then we won't have to ask these. Brad Hewitt, 250.
So that was, the electrician that did the wiring for the board out in the front lobby.
And and it was wrote to him individually?
Yes.
Okay. And then Claudia Brown, 810.
So she does, cleaning of the offices.
Mhm.
And I asked her, that's for 3 months. I asked her if she could bill us monthly as opposed to 3 months at a time.
So that's 3 months.
Mhm.
So it's about okay.
Yeah.
So we won't see another bill again
This was January, February, and March.
so we won't see another until June. Okay.
Order, that sounds like.
And then Night Watch, 23,672. What was that in regards to?
So, Night Watch, that was from 2025. It was when the fob system was added to the building. And they did not bill us. They missed billing us. And so we just got the bill.
When did they do that fob system here?
That was last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
long time
Barry
ago.
was here and they did
Yeah.
it.
So
So
they're just billing that out?
yes.
I got a couple checks here, this, emergency networking. You got, is that the same as AT&T then? Cause you got two checks here with the same amount. $4,030. One is 27.
So,
What is that one, Bruce?
emergency
Emergency networking.
networking,
There's two of them there for $4,030.
they,
Wasn't that one the one that, they never cashed? If I
right, so
remember
that will
correctly.
probably be voided at the
Yeah.
next.
So one is voided on here, which one?
It's gonna be voided, the 4,030.
But it's emergency
Still-
networking.
So there's one for 4,030. Then there's
They're both for $4,030.
the other one.
Did they lose the other?
Oh, right there.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
mail or wherever, so
If I
they
can.
contacted us back.
Go ahead.
Redo it.
Emergency networking is our reporting system for the fire department.
The
That's
recording.
Reporting, that's,
Oh.
it has to be done electronically
Mhm.
by state mandate,
Okay.
federal mandate, so that's a third party that we use to
For billing.
implement our reports.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. No, no. Mhm. I'm good.
Roll call. Oh, you got another part of this?
No, so I'm
Roll
fine.
call.
Trustee Hoskins,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis.
Yes.
Clerk Faraka, yes. Trustee Menke,
Yes,
Trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
Trustee McKay,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes.
7 yes, motion carries.
Okay, we'll take public comments on agenda items only.
Good evening, Tony Artist. I just wanted to talk a minute about the resolution you have tonight to appoint 6 new members to the Parks and Rec Committee to join Cody, who has kept it alive on life support for the past couple of years. When I volunteered to step up and then I took on the mission of trying to get new members. I want you to know the thought process that went into these names. One, age. I wanted some youth on there, some younger people, because we got to get our youth involved.
Yeah.
These names right here are just the board members for Parks and Rec. We have others that are already lining up to help out, to plan, to do things. Our youngest member is 14. He turns 15 in August. And or let's say the oldest member is in their sixties. I'm not sure exactly where it falls, but someplace in the sixties. I'm not sure which one of us is the oldest. And then the other thing I took into consideration was location. I thought every area in Bedford Township needed to be represented. And most people, a lot of township residents, do not realize how big a scope Bedford Township is and its boundaries. So we have somebody from the far west side of Level Park in Bedford Township on the border. We have another individual within Level Park. We have two individuals that are from the Village of Bedford area out that way to cover that. We have another individual who's from the very far northeast section of Bedford Township. And then I have a representative from Orchard Park. And then I'm missing somebody. Oh, the area where Bedford Township starts on M37 and goes north within that area there. So I try to get representation from every area. And then the age thing. And they are ready to go to work as soon as you appoint them. We did have a informal meeting where we addressed the public and gave them a briefing on what's going on and to show you how things get moving. At that meeting, we discussed the tree that was down at Brookside Annex. Now, nobody's taken responsibility for it, but within 2 days after that meeting, that tree was taken off that fence. So I don't know now if insurance paper can be filed and we can get the fence replaced under insurance or what, but the tree is down, cut up and off the fence.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak?
So, a couple days ago,
Who are you?
oh, I am Peter Van Gotham.
Thank you.
No, I don't think anyone else in this room has the same name.
Thank you.
Okay. A couple of days ago, I talked to Randy Johnson and Cody about fishing a picnic table out of the lower Brookside in Wabaskin Creek, where it's been all winter because I live near there and I drive by it all the time. So I didn't mean to usurp your power or authority or anything like that by doing that. And I know you saw it posted, that I took it and moved it up. If the board decides they want it back down at that lower part, that's, that's fine. I'll move it back where it came from. I won't throw it back in the water. This is kind of off subject, but those people, I talked to the foreman that took the lot we used to lose, and I just let him know they were having their morning meeting. I just happened to be driving by, and I've already had conversations with them. So they're going to move that equipment back away from the road, which was a concern. It's not, it didn't fit here.
And anybody else wishing to speak on the agenda item?
Hello again.
Hello.
I'm Mike Wood. I'm speaking regarding my FOIA appeal submitted on April 1st, 2026. That appeal was received by the township on that date under the Michigan Freedom of Information Act, specifically MCL 15.240A. The response timeline runs from April 1st. I want to be clear for the record that this timeline is not dependent on any meeting schedule, and the township is required to issue a written determination within the statutory timeframes. If the township intends to extend that timeline, it must do so in accordance with MCL 15.240A, Section 8, with the original response period. I am also requesting that this appeal be handled administratively in writing as provided under the statute. I do not waive any rights if the township chooses to schedule a separate meeting. Additionally, I want to note that this is not the first time the appeal has resulted in a special meeting being scheduled separately from the regular proceedings. I would ask the township to ensure that the process remains consistent with the intent of the FOIA, which is to provide timely and reasonable access to public records without unnecessary delay or added burden. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak at public comment? Agenda comment. Seeing none, moving on to, reports. Police and fire.
I think most of you have met me. Want to let you know now.
Who are you?
My name is Officer Phillips, Battle Creek Police Department. Officer LaValle has moved to a different district. I'm going to be filling in for her. As a result, I don't have our total number of calls for today, but I do have some other information. Our largest amount of calls appear to be frauds over the last month. That being said, I want to give a little bit of advice. Number one, if you get text from your bank telling you there may be fraud, don't call that number. Find the number for your bank and call them directly. If you do find that you're a victim of fraud, we're also starting to move towards an online reporting feature. It's not mandatory, but it's helpful. Then you can provide all the information you have without going through a third person like you gave a telephone, right? The second number of calls that I saw was for property damage accidents, which you would think would happen mostly over the winter. It seems to be a trend in the opposite. When weather starts getting nice, people start thinking they can drive crazy and start getting for accidents. So be careful on the road. If you guys have any questions, I'll be available throughout the evening as well if you'd like to talk to me after.
I got a question here. I was sitting at the gas station here a couple weeks ago. And, are you guys doing radar along Michigan Avenue or?
Yes.
Because these motorcycles had to go at 100 miles an hour. And that's no joke. I was talking to a friend of mine and he lived a few blocks off the road. And when I was talking about the phone, he heard them. I mean.
I may actually be very aware of what you're talking about. We can talk about that offline afterwards.
Okay.
Those two motorcycles in particular were dealt with that evening.
Well, there was more than two, but maybe that's all you see this
Yeah,
time.
the
Because
two that
they've
I
been going fast.
The two that I saw were dealt with that evening.
Yeah, okay. Good, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Chief, fire chief.
Bill Woodward. We had 102 runs last month, which is about average for us. When we proposed adding the medicals to the budget and to call volume, we extrapolated 3 runs a day. And that's 3.2 right there. So the entire time we've made that step to help improve the safety of, our citizens. It's been pretty consistent with that 3 a day. Having said that, yesterday we had 7. So and the theme is false. Everybody just please be careful, watch your footing, falls with head injuries. That was the bulk of what we did. So please be careful. Our academy concluded last Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago. So, congratulations to Cody. He passed with flying colors, so he's now a certified firefighter. Out of our group, we do have 2 individuals that need to retest the written portion. This is not an uncommon thing, so we just put them, find the next location so they can go and retest. I have all the confidence that those 2 will pass as well. We formed a working group with the Metro Chiefs, Penfield, Emmett, Battle Creek, Springfield. So in that working group, we can just deal with issues that we have locally, trying to get, but we don't have bad working relationships, but verifying roles and responsibilities and how we can help each other. The part of that is that group, we're gonna write a grant for turnout gear so that we can all join in on that. It's much cost effective to do it. So, and with probably the mandatory 2 sets of gear coming down the road, we want to try and get ahead of that. So we can do that. That would be awesome. Our county chiefs, that's a whole different level. That's all the chiefs and all the whole county. We're looking at doing a regional grant for fire hose, which is going to include Kalamazoo County, Berry County, and part of Branch County. And yes, so again, the more numbers that we have involved, the lower the cost for everything. So that's a good thing. We have a meeting today, with Consumers Energy at our solar farm. It's Contractor Safety Week coming up. So we're planning an exercise out there, which has been on the table. We are trying to get this accomplished. So we're gonna do an exercise out there with the contractors, with the consumers, individuals. It's gonna be on our side, in our field, but we'll have Johnstown Fire Department there, and we're working on getting life care to be out there. It's gonna simulate an injury somewhere in the field and how our response would be and what we'd have to triage, treat, and transport out. So looking forward to that. That's gonna be very educational for everyone involved. We are in that season. Everyone's cleaning up their property. Please make sure and get a burn permit. That's helpful when we know that there's a permit there. That makes it easier for us to, if I come up and say, hey, I know you got a permit, I still have to come. There's a complaint. I still have to come. I can look at it. If you're within the parameters, no harm, no foul, you just keep going. But, it's very helpful for us if you have that burn permit. So, and then this spring, it's also a good time. Those of us that have long driveways, we need to make sure they're trimmed up so that we can get the vehicles down if there's an incident at your property. The ambulances are so big. Fire equipment is so big. So if we could get those driveways cleared so we can get to you, that's the benefits of it. So that's pretty much all I have right now. Thank you for your attention. Yes, sir.
As somebody that, is somebody else wants to?
No. You just keyed it. My thought bubble popped.
This is, and I don't, again, I'm using the word usurp a lot. I don't want to get into anything, but since I was in Wabash Creek, yesterday, day before, that water levels are up Kalamazoo River. When I was a kid, I lived near the Kalamazoo River and the park. When the water levels are up, you can so easily get trapped against the log. And it's when my wife was there to dial 911, she just got the idea I'm old. But just your kids with the warm weather combination and the high water levels, the temptation to get into the water, talk to your kids.
Yeah.
So that's.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was one that I didn't have it written down, but that was one I had to do, so I forgot about that. One other thing, the farmer's market is now gonna be behind Station 3 on Morgan Road, correct?
I'm gonna ask people not to use that lane near the fire station.
Come in off that.
And enter off the Algonquin North Avenue.
Yeah.
I already have it on one of my videos.
Yeah, and the water spigot is still available. You guys need that water spigot. So,
Groovy. Look forward to that.
It's a nice thing. It's a great area for the farmer's market back there.
What date does it start? Farmer's market.
May 2nd, 9 a.m.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a question.
Sure.
Fire station tower.
Yeah.
Tear down, how's that going? Any updates on that?
I won't use that. Right now, Cody's been in on this. The land bank is having an issue. They're willing to pay for the deconstruction of the tower along with the building, but they needed to have ownership, who owns it, which is reasonable. You don't want to tear something down that somebody's gonna come back and say, hey, what'd you do? So we've done some research. Cody's done some pretty good research, and basically it's ours.
Okay. It's
So-
deeded to Bedford?
There's a quitclaim deed somewhere.
Yeah, so 1988, AMSA meeting minutes. They mentioned that they were gonna get the tower quitclaim to them. There's no evidence of that ever actually happened.
Oh.
People, AMSA, went away a couple of years ago. People associated with AMSA says it's their tower. If you call consumers and ask who's been paying the bill on the electric, or call Semco and ask gas, it's been County Dispatch, because the belief was they inherited all of AMSA's infrastructure. But we had a survey done last year some point of that whole property when we had to redo the cemetery in that property. And it mentions nothing, and they would have done deed searches and anything, and title searches, and it mentions nothing about AMSA. So by everything I can find, it's ours. the funders just yet, like Bill said, weren't willing to fund it as part of the grant unless someone takes ownership. So it doesn't matter if it really
Yeah.
is ours. All parties who it could be know and are okay with it going away, so we're just.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know we were on a time limit
Yep.
with them, so we're still good with all of that. Nothing's, okay.
yep, and if, as long as they agree to fund it, which I don't see why they wouldn't. The demolition of this, structure is starting next month. They have the company picked out for that. I forget their name off the top of my head. And although that company wasn't the cheapest to also deconstruct the tower, it was the second cheapest. So just for convenience of being on site already, they're also gonna have them, if it gets funded, to deconstruct that tower as well.
Okay,
But if you look at the building, there's plywood on the windows.
okay.
The asbestos abatement has been completed.
That was my question.
And they had to take the windows
Mhm.
with them because there was asbestos and glazing.
Okay,
So that's why all the windows are out.
so the boarding is protecting.
Well, it's to keep,
Yeah.
to keep unwanted people from entering in.
Okay.
Kids and everything
Kids.
else. So,
Okay.
you see the upper windows are still open.
Okay,
But that's because it's gonna start being torn down. We just wanted to make sure it was safe.
thank you. Thank you.
Representative Steve Frisbee.
Evening, everybody. Steve Frisbee, 44th District State Rep. A couple things that affect you. First of all, thanks to all who traveled to Lansing to take part in the hearing for the legislative directed spending for the fire station. Appreciate your time. I couldn't be there because I was out of the country. So I was glad that we had a good showing and appreciate everybody's effort that day. We won't know about prioritization of that list for a bit until the revenue estimation conference in the first week of May will set the course for the budget. So we won't know where we're going to be at legislative directed spending wise dollar total until we have some final budget to dollars to work with, or estimations, I should say. The other thing I think that's big in Lansing that would affect the township, every township and city, are the building zoning. An attempt to try to lower the housing shortage package of bills was introduced in the House. I got to be honest, I'm not in favor of those. The reason is there's a lot of loss of local control, and a one size fits all approach in zoning is probably a disaster in my opinion. MML the Michigan Municipal League has a proposal out as well that kind of contradicts some of those things. I think somewhere in there may be some good ideas for folks to consider. But I've said this in public. I said it in a state of the state, after the state of the state in a TV interview. You have the ability to get red tape out of the way. If you want housing and there's red tape in your township that you think prevents development and housing development specifically, then I think you should try to act and remove that so that people can build homes. They can look at other options of smaller things like in-law apartments, in the back, those kind of things where they're appropriate. But I think those are like I said, somewhere in the middle probably is where we'll end up. That's kind of a big fight within the both caucuses right now of catching, everybody's ear from within their district of, hey, listen, we don't like that because we want local control. So what's good in Bedford may not be good in Farmington Hills, right? And if we pass that bill, the bills as presented, it would be that way. And I don't think that allows you the nimbleness you need to be able to maneuver. The next thing would be the budget. It's our goal to have the budget done and in place, agreed upon and voted on and off to the governor by July 1st, as we're supposed to do, try to do. Last year was a big kerfuffle because of some of the things we were trying to accomplish and ultimately ended up doing. One was the roads. So when Supervisor talked about all the roads projects, the $2 billion that's being injected into roads and bridges, you're seeing the result of that with all those projects. And you'll see the result of it at the county level as well. So about a 34% increase in funding for Calhoun County. I was made aware that every local road request was funded. this year, the match. So, that's good news, and I think, we can really start to hammer away at roads. Specifically for you, it would be, treatment for the ones that we already repaved back in 14, 15, 16, and then, the upgrade of some of the primary roads that are, I think you mentioned Collier's in rough shape. So, and that's not unusual this time of year. It was never fun to be the county commissioner in April, at the thaw point, because that was when you had to deal with all these issues. So I would encourage you, the county does have a reporting app on their website, to use that if you have some dangerous potholes, get them reported. I know they're out working. I saw them yesterday. So they're out and doing what they can with the patching devices, the Durapatchers. Hot mix asphalt, I don't believe is available yet. So you'll probably see that in the next few days. Typically, the 15th is that day that they look at, and they look at the weather patterns of where they're going. So other than that, I think those are the major issues. And once we know where we're at in that legislative directed spending prioritization, we'll get back with you and let you know where you fall. And any questions for me? That's good. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see Commissioner Dan, so we're moving on. Resolution 4/14/2609, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Bedford to appoint Tony Artis, Grayson Finch, Susan Gehrman, Hayden Heikela, Zena Perry, and Anthony Roller, to the Bedford Parks and Recreation Committee.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
trustee McKay,
Yes.
trustee Menke,
Yes.
trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
trustee Hoskins,
Yes.
supervisor Johnson,
Yes.
clerk Baraco, yes. 7 yes, motion carries.
Resolution 4/14/2610, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Bedford to formally receive the FOIA appeal of Mr. Adam Heikler, appeal number 03-0312, emailed to clerk on March 12th, 2026 at 1:22 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Can I jump in real quick? This is an appeal of the CASAS, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that is something, Randy, that we can handle administratively. I know last time we did appeal hearings, that was involving, a denial or a request. This is a little different. So that's something that I can get with you tomorrow. We could issue and you're authorizing the statute to make the determination.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't think there'd be a need for a special in that case.
And just check us all. So, yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. You're around tomorrow? Are you around tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you a call probably first thing in the morning, then, okay?
Okay,
So we don't need a special meeting.
okay, so I'm the sponsor of this, I will retract it. Everybody agree to that? Roll call on that.
So aren't we still accepting his appeal? Yes.
Yeah, you can accept the appeal, it's.
Right, but there's no special meeting
Yeah, we'll-
required.
Oh, no special meeting,
No.
okay, all right then. All right, okay, well, then take roll.
Trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
trustee Hoskins,
Yes.
trustee Menke,
Yes.
clerk Baraco, yes. Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
trustee McKay,
Yes.
supervisor Johnson.
Yes,
7 yes, motion carried.
okay. Well, that excludes the meeting, okay, that works then. Okay, public comment,
Petition, new business.
petition and new business, do we have it?
No.
No.
Okay. We're good.
Public comment, anybody wishing to speak?
What? Yeah, here. Public comment. Oh. What?
Mike Stipe. Let me just start off by thanking the cemetery grounds crew. They have been very busy out there and doing a great job for the township and the residents out there that visit the cemetery. And the weather's not been helping. So let me just start with that. I have some concerns over the sudden changes at the cemetery. My family has been going to the cemetery since 1997, during which time visitors to the cemetery have always been allowed to place shepherd hooks and loose flowers on the grave sites. I was recently informed that there will be no more shepherd hooks allowed, and the rules regarding the flowers will be enforced. The justification I was told for this was the cemetery rules ordinance from April of 1981 that was recently posted in the window of the office building. I find this to be troubling and contradictory for the following reason. One, the ordinance in question has not been posted in public view since its adoption and contains handwritten rules on the ordinance itself, which you cannot do. Two, cemetery currently has rules posted at each entrance, 2 signs, 1 on each side, and then say the word adopted on them, and are different rules from the ordinance from 1981 posted on the office building. Has this ordinance been amended since 1981? If so, when? And do we have a copy of those changes, if any were actually made? 2, in both sets of ordinances, they talk about having large urns on each side of the gravestones as an option for your flowers. The layout of the cemetery does not account for 2 large urns on each plot, which makes the desired display for flowers very difficult, if not impossible, at many sites, and has the potential to create conflict over available ground for urns to be displayed. The display of large urns also does not seem to have a great impact on decreasing the required maintenance in the cemetery, as you'll have to weed whip around them, and can create a 2-inch or 4-inch gap between urns on grave sites that you can't maintain with the weed whip. Further, military and public service members are recognized in many places out of the cemetery with a rod stake and a little medallion on the top, which I fully support and was left after the shepherd hooks were removed. The ordinance that is in question states that no rod is allowed to be in the ground. Again, I fully support the idea of supporting the military service members, but what made us make the distinction between that and the other? Concerns over the lack of information given at the time of deed purchase and lack of information concerning adopted rules, especially considering there are 2 sets of adopted rules posted out there, are concerning. In conclusion, if the goal is to make the cemetery look nicer, why not address the hundreds of damaged stones, the driveway issues that we have, amongst other things? I don't think it's appropriate to change the rules on how we're enforcing them without public input after decades of operation under our current format. That seems incredibly disrespectful for those like me that have purchased lots and have loved ones there. I do feel that there is room for compromise that begins on identifying which set of rules which is currently adopted and then seeking feedback from the public. I would just like to say that I really encourage us to rethink how we're enforcing and what we're doing out there.
Thank you.
I have a problem.
Please state your name. Who are you?
Gerald Castellani, 238 Oak Street. I have a problem. When the tornado come through, they left that in the street in front of my house. Anyway, I couldn't get to my driveway. And I know the county, the way they do things. They come in, they cut the trees, shove it off the side of the road and leave it. So I took all that and put it in my backyard and I burnt it. My problem is they fell on my house. I had to fix my house. My insurance company come in and checked my house after I had the work done. Then they look at the pine trees that's on the county property, and they're county trees that landed on my house. They said that if those trees fall on my house again, they was not going to cover it unless I cut them down, unless they get cut down. I priced to get them cut down The first two prices, one was 12 grand, the other one was 15. And that was for them to remove the trees also. I contacted another company and they offered $7,000 if I removed the trees after they cut them down. They're not my trees. I shouldn't have to pay 7 grand to have the trees cut down and so I can get, so if they fall down, my house, will be covered. I need them cut down. And if you guys, and my thing is, and even the people that I talked to for 7 grand, I told them, cut them down, leave stumps 4 foot high. I don't care. But they need to be removed. And I got pictures of them, what they look like today. And I'll show you, they're dead. Those pine trees are dead. They need to be cut down. And I'm retired. $7,000 a lot to me. That's in my front yard. On the outside of my fence.
Can you go online and email those?
Huh?
Or can you email those to the supervisor?
I don't know. I'm not gonna do that. But I got other pictures that shows what the county does. Now, this right here is across the street from my mom's house. That's what the county did. When the tornado came through years ago, those trees came down and the county cut them up and shoved them off the side of the road. They're still there today. How many years that's been? That's across the street from my mom's house. This right here, that's on Wellington. And they're still there. And they've been down, I don't know how many years. But the county don't do anything. They do piss poor work as far as I'm concerned. I've been here 40 years, and out of 40 years, my street has only been plowed properly twice.
Okay, Jerry,
And I'm upset about it.
Your time's up and we can talk about it. We'll talk about it.
But something needs to be done, please.
If you come in tomorrow, I can download the pictures for you. Get it to supervisor.
I'll try. I got other problems going on right now. My father-in-law is in the hospital and
we have to move on, Jerry.
But we got an appointment with him on Tuesday. I'll be here Tuesday.
Okay, we'll have to move on. Is anybody else wishing to speak to public comment?
I'm Rita Kerwin. I want to talk about ordinances. If people aren't going to follow the ordinances, why do we have them? I don't know how many times, probably 4 times. I'm going to say 4 times. I've had Jim come out about my neighbor's chickens. I don't have a problem if you have chickens. Have them all you want. But when they start destroying my property, I'm going to have a problem. Now, the last time I was in here, I spoke to Supervisor, Cody, Jim. Animal control never came to see me. But my thing is, I heard something very distressing. Well, if they cooperate the first time we go out and they do what we tell them to do, it starts all over. The clock starts all over again. So this is a second complaint. When is it that we're going to give these people fines? Start over. Okay, so they're going to start over. They're going to comply. They don't comply. There's still a rooster there. They put it in their shed with their chickens. I hear it at night. I hear it during the day. It's muffled, but it's there. Again, if we're going to have ordinances in Bedford, let's follow the ordinances. I follow the ordinances. I would get a burn permit if I was going to burn. I don't know if they get a burn permit. Again, this is ridiculous. 30 years I've lived here in this area. My husband grew up in this area. And we're talking about ordinances. Either get them updated or just don't have a damn ordinance. Excuse my language. Well, ticked off about that. Get them taken care of because I'm tired of this ongoing. Well, we're just going to do a do-over. He's never going to learn his lesson unless he gets a fine. That's my thing. But I did say, if that chicken comes in my yard again, any of them, I got a bat.
And then I throw them over in his yard and say, here's your chicken. It's dead. I don't want chickens in my yard. I don't have chickens. If I wanted chickens, I'd go get chickens. I don't want them. They're nasty little animals. They get in your swimming pool and they make a mess. So either get the ordinances updated, adopted correctly, do it, and come out and do what you're gonna do. Jim comes out, he does his job, have no problem with that. But the ordinances need to be changed and people need to get fined. That's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Mr. Cunningham, he is our electrical gentleman that comes out and approves it. I have yet to see that man come out about my solar panels. He says he came out November 6th. I didn't have solar panels November 6th. I didn't have them until December. So that needs to be addressed.
Anyone else wishing to speak in public comment?
Adam Michael, thank you. And I'll expect that determination to be issued in writing within the timelines required under MCL 15.2 based on April 1st submission. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak at public comment?
Yeah.
Come on.
First, I want to thank, Mike Stein for saying what he did about the cemetery, because I had some of the same comments to write down. One more thing about the cemetery, and I tried to go out there the other day and talk to Thor, but they were busy and there was work being done in the cemetery and just couldn't get in there. But I am working to get a group of people together to place flags Memorial Day weekend at the cemetery for the veterans. I'm creating a list to work from, because there isn't any one list. This shows who the veterans are out there, and I'm up to almost 400. So if any township residents have somebody buried out there that's a veteran that doesn't have a veterans marker, if they want to check with me, and I'll see if I can make sure I have them on the list. I've tried to use multiple sources to put this list together. I do want to thank you guys for conversation, donuts, and coffee on Wednesdays with the seniors. I really enjoy going to that. We have a good time, and I'm going to miss it because I'm going to have to stop here in the next month or so. Mr. Frisbee brought up about you guys going to Lansing to testify. I didn't get to see that testimony, but I did get to see the testimony of the local minister who now has control over Ardmore Park, and he blatantly threw Bedford Township under the bus and said that we abandoned it. We've never done anything out there. In that he's asking for $500,000 to refurbish that park. And then made the remark that we hadn't put any money to it. Like I said, we abandoned it. And that he's sure Bedford Township will jump back on the bandwagon if he gets this money approved. That park has never been Bedford Township property, is what I was told. We turned it back over because the county was keeping the park millage money. So I just find it, just thoroughly disgusted that that testimony was allowed to go on and Bedford Township was threw under the bus multiple times. And I'll close just by saying, I'm going to run out of time. I think you all need to remember that you are elected and your position, and that does not make you superior to anybody else. And we have to work better. We have to work together in order to move Bedford Township forward, because we seem to be one step forward, 2 steps back. Thank you.
Peter.
Don't,
I didn't see her. Well, he was up, then we'll go back to the next. To the back.
Hey, my name hasn't changed. I am still Peter Van Gotham, and you're still not. So there was a Volkswagen commercial on. It stopped running about a year ago, but it had a song that I loved. It said, "Are we having any fun? What are you getting out of living? If other people do, then why can't you have a little fun?" All right, I thought I'd break the mood here a little bit. I'm gonna go right into something serious. You and Randy, Johnson conducted the first meeting. I was sitting in the front row. I was not very kind to him. You guys probably don't know about the 2 successive meetings we had back in his office afterward. I was cruel. I tried to bait him into a fight. Probably a little unethical. So when I came to him later for something, he was very receptive and kind. I want to make a public apology. I know it doesn't take back the words or the actions, but it's the best I have to offer. So moving on, May 2nd, 9 o'clock in the morning, we have our first farmers market in the park. I'm asking everybody, especially if you're listening at home, do not access off of Morgan Road, that lane that goes by the fire station. They're increasingly getting busy, especially wildfires right now. Brush fires. You never know when those doors are going to fly up or they're going to come into that parking lot. That building that was a church is now a private business. She has a small parking lot. She's not against people using it, but really don't fill it up. Be cognizant that this is. I'm going to try to work as much as I'm used to being a lone wolf. I will try to respect Tony Artist as much as possible and work with her and that board. There's something in advertising called the fairness doctrine. I didn't realize the first time I saw Brian Molnauer. He was a few years ago the commander of the American Legion post across from Harper Creek High School, and we spoke on the. I met him, but we mostly spoke on the phone. That's why I didn't recognize him, and it's been a few years. So whichever way things go here in November, I'm comfortable with the next 2 years. Guys, I got 21 seconds left. Anybody want to talk about anything? Let's see.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. I do think.
How are you?
I'm sorry, Jones, sorry. Just a couple of things. It does seem to be a theme here, and it's kind of an ongoing theme, and that is we have a communication problem. Communication, Mr. Mike Stive brought up tonight related to the cemetery. I had not heard that either. It sounds like it was a decision made. I don't know if the board deliberated on it. I don't remember. I watched the meetings usually. I didn't ever hear anything about that. To kind of blindside people who have for many years placed different items out there is probably not fair. It needed to be communicated. It probably needed to be discussed in public by the whole board. So that communication, the other communication that is clearly a problem is the communication intra-board wise, but also to the public. So for instance, there's a resolution tonight, it's number 16, the FOIA appeal. We have no idea as the public what the FOIA was or why it's being appealed. So we've not seen the original FOIA, nor have we seen the appeal request by Mr. Heikla. So we had no idea what you were or what Seth was responding to here, and that's obviously not fair. That's a public document and it should be released. In terms of the letter that was written by I guess he's not a business owner now, however, by someone who works at that business, apparently, it states that there are a sworn statement by someone, it didn't say official, it said a full-time employee basically at the office. And I don't know how this gentleman, I think it's Mr. Wetherill, would have any idea how to point at a certain trustee or to point out a certain resident in the township. And it does not matter at all whether that particular resident is a friend or not a friend. When I was serving on the board, I had neighbors who would complain to me about what they believed was a blight problem and a violation of an ordinance. And I did report that at the time to Mike Savio, who was the blight officer then. We never disclosed the names. Now, to have this not only written down, he has a right to do that, but he states emphatically in the letter that he has a sworn statement. If you do not have that sworn statement, which I believe you've all said tonight, and I believe you've all said that there was not any full-time official that did that, then you should contact Mr. Wetherell. You should, I mean, this is a violation it's an attempt to really malign him, and not only about ethics, but also about breaking the law. And that's wrong. It should have been addressed. Thank you.
Mr. Seth, would you give your opinion about the township getting involved and getting in touch with him? I'll give you a chance, but what is your opinion on that?
About reaching out to Mr.
Wetherell, the guy who made the complaint.
Bruce didn't do anything wrong here. Okay, that's for, I'm what I can tell, right? Anyone could submit a complaint. I could, you could, anybody. Okay, and from how it was handled, from what was discussed tonight, I mean, from what I could tell, it was the right way. Like, it was just communicated to the ordinance officer, and it just went from there. Like, part of the issue is when we get letters from people, we don't necessarily know what or why it's how that information came to be and it got submitted. Okay, you could reach out, you want to reach out to Mr. Wetherell, I mean, you certainly can. I'm not sure if that's a position of the township board. I didn't think it probably would be, and I see Randy already shaking his head on that. So, then, again, if that's something you don't want to do, then I wouldn't do it, but I did want to, I mean, I don't think, like, I've read that, and I didn't think the allegations were necessarily very either, Bruce. And I understand why you feel how you do, but, it's up to, it's up to you whether or not.
Can I ask the question?
Yeah, sure.
Seth, is it possible, since he wrote that, to make him provide that?
You could ask him, yeah.
I mean, that seems like it would be, like, if,
Sure.
he shouldn't just be able to throw things like that around.
Sure.
Not at all, no, yeah.
So that's,
Yeah, I mean, if that's something that the board wants to do, say, look, you made this allegation about one of our trustees.
and you're not giving us
And-
the full
Yeah,
document
we're
that you have, that doesn't seem,
Right, because if he can't produce it, then I guess that is what it is, but
I think that's
they
fair.
said that there were sworn statements. I'm not aware of anyone, you aren't aware of anything.
He didn't turn it into this.
So
clerk's office.
that's what I would say, 'cause
And if we can ask that, maybe you can help get that letter together to send to him,
I could write a letter.
if
Yeah, no
everybody's
problem.
good with that, and then tell him we want to disclose who did that. If he doesn't, not fair what he's putting out about one of our trustees either. Very unfair.
Sure.
Well, I think it's horrible, but I don't see it no different than people get on these pages of Facebook and say horrible things about other people. We know they're lies, and I've had them said about me, but I don't respond to it. I'm not gonna dignify it. The letter he sent that here, I don't know where he got any information whatsoever. And he asked for other things that looked like he had help right then. I don't know. All I did was pass it on as it came to you guys.
Mhm.
That's it.
I understand, but I also feel that's a different situation than Facebook. This came from office, he's saying. If it came from our office, we need to shut that down. It should not go out to public. Anybody complaining, whether it be a board member, we have to have protection for us.
Suppose
or
it's telling
protection
a
for
lie.
a township,
Suppose I'm not calling him a liar. I'm just saying, suppose it wasn't true.
right? And the letter will
Then you can backtrack.
help pursue that. I
Your
guess,
turn
what
to
does
speak.
everybody think?
Thanks. Good evening, board members. Greg Moore, Community Affairs Manager with Consumers Energy. Good to be back with you. Had a couple conflicting board township meetings in the last couple of months, but want to come and bring you an update because we had some significant milestones that we have hit. One of which is last week, actually Tuesday of last week, we energized the substation for the first time. So that was a big, huge milestone for us. It's full. We made it in just under the road crossing us. The big transformer came in, so we had 1 day to spare, and it's now energized, so that's huge. All the panels in Berry County have been installed, and the panels in Bedford will be done within the next 2 weeks, Mother Nature dependent, of course. We're now doing all the connections between the series of panels, plugging them all in together, making sure that the connections are solid. They'll be connected to the inverters, and then that'll be connected to the substation in series through our underground cabling. All the areas were pre-seeded as was required by the ordinance. And all the areas where we've done work and, over the winter, things got beaten up and so forth, those areas are now being reseeded. So that we'll have a good ground cover in there. All the trees, I think as I reported last time I was here, all the trees are in. They are finishing up the staking of all the trees because that did not get done before winter hit a little bit early last year. So that is being done. Again, if you see some copper looking trees, which I hope I haven't been up through that way in the last week, but if there are copper looking trees that don't make it, they will be replaced as also is required. All the fencing is done and complete. And we are looking at beginning to do testing on the system for synchronization with the grid starting in mid-May, which will be the next big milestone to make sure everything, the power from the panels to the inverters to the substation all syncs, and it syncs with our grid operator, the mid-continent system operator, so everything looks smoothly. So when those tests go well, we plan to be in operation in early to mid-June. So assuming everything checks out, everything's a go, we'll be operational in June. So that is good news. The other thing I wanted to report, good news, a lot of work was gone that went into, and we spoke many times about the stormwater plan, and we've had rain. We have had rain, right? And snow. And I'm pleased to report that the stormwater management provisions we put in place have worked as intended, as they were supposed to. Nothing's left the site or caused problems off site. And we have had some channeling because we had a lot of water. But that's damage that's all been done on our site, and it's all going to be repaired before, we put it in operation. So we're very pleased with the way things have gone. Burns McDonough has done a great job for us, and we'll have people there past the June date. Obviously, we'll be putting the signage up. We'll be doing work, as the chief said, with safety protocols and safety trainings and things like that. But very, very soon, we'll start seeing, that generating power for all of us. So thanks for.
I got a question though for you. Now that you got the grid tightened up and we got the panels coming in and be hooked, can you just give us not hold your feet to it, but how that improves the downtime for outages? It should lessen our downtime for outages a lot, shouldn't it?
Well, what's really going to improve that is the tree trimming that we're doing. We're doing it, some of it here in the township, especially on St. Mary's Lake. So we had, damage from one of the previous storms. So that's what's really going to affect storm downtime.
Okay.
To keep those trees, those limbs off our power lines. It's very expensive. You heard tonight how cutting just a few trees, 7, 12, 15, we're cutting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of trees across the state. That's why it's so expensive. So, while there's a lot of play in the media about, rate increases and our plans, what I can tell you is that about 72%, 72 cents out of every dollar that is spent by customers, including myself, in rates, 72 cents of that is going right into the grid for tree trimming, thicker wire, taller, stronger poles. The equipment that allows us in a storm, if a line does hit, it automatically helps to reroute power so we don't have to send a worker out to identify it. The system already knows. But all that stuff has to be installed, and it's going to take us time with a system that covers the entire Lower Peninsula. But we are doing that, and the tree trimming is number one. What the Great Creek will do was put more power on the system in this location. So it's going to help strengthen the grid in this area and make sure those, if we have power issues or voltage issues, anything like that, there will be, it's like putting more water into a pipe system, right? You have more pressure. And so the closer you are to the water tower, the better your water pressure. Well, the same will be the case here. We're putting more power onto the grid closer to you. And hopefully that will help with some issues. But we really, other than trees, we haven't had a lot of system related. We've had some pole failures, but I think a lot of that's been taken care of. So, yeah,
that's good news.
I just like the investment. See the investment here.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Hey Greg, one question for you. When we talked at the beginning, you said the beginning of May for the pilt,
For the,
for the farms.
yeah, so our meeting, just follow up, we did have a meeting on the PILT, so we're going to, our tax department should have it done the end of this week, the calculations, and then we'll submit it
Okay,
either end of this month or first part of May.
okay,
So then that'll give you time to discuss it, talk with your attorney and your accountants and everybody to make sure it's all good, and then whenever you act on it, you act on
And
it.
so that we're looking at June for you to come back, we do our thing. And
Well, I'm urging them to get it going, but I mean, I want to be respectful because they say we get it to you the first week, your meeting's the second week. That's not fair to ask you to act on something like that, even though it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of information in there that the board's gonna want to see and want to run by the attorney. So if you act by June, we didn't get it to you when we were hoping in this
Right.
month. We were gonna get it in April and it's not gonna be May, so that's on us, not on you.
well, I was hoping we'll have all the next month to get everybody on board and know what it's all about. And get it on at least July, but I hope maybe on the June agenda. So you can come back and let everybody know what it's really all about.
Right.
And
We'll bring, hopefully, Brian will come back and, I mean, he's the expert in all this stuff and actually help write the law, so.
yeah,
I'd like to have him here because, there may be some questions from the public and should be out and open. It's, like I said, it's a pretty straightforward thing. It's been used by most of the townships across the state, but you still need to know what you're getting into.
yeah.
thank you.
Boss.
Anybody else wishing?
Danielle Blanchard. Two things I'd like to address today. First off, in regards to the compensation committee and Ms. Hoskins' inquiries about gross pay, wouldn't it be helpful for us to know the pay for the compensation committee? And even if we're not on it, we need to know these things. So I feel like having that be public knowledge, kind of a big deal, especially if it's a committee that needs to know how to pay you people. Also, lastly, my comment to Mr. Randy Johnson, if Bruce has a concern and everyone, including your attorney, is okay with sending out letters, making sure things are fact checked, that way it's not just personal defamation. If you're the problem, like if you're the only one who has a problem with that, maybe that's the problem.
Anybody else wishing to speak?
Tom Sproul. I have a question on the way you're handling the retirement plan. Okay, if you're gonna give the information as to what's going in to all the board members, I hope it's only for the required amount from the township board itself and not any voluntary information that they go in if they're given voluntary contributions, because that's none of your business. Because the township has one representative with the retirement plan, and that's the one that should be doing that stuff. Nobody else needs to know that. So I just want to make sure when that came up, that's the way it's gonna be. Just the township's portion is all they really need to know.
That's it.
Good.
Anybody else wishing to speak at public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to statutory officials and trustees' personal privilege. Start at either end.
You started last time, I'll start this. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We go through a lot of material, a lot of information, and it's not the easiest to sit through, especially if you're watching it on TV. But anyway, thank you all for coming. That's all I have to say.
I'll go ahead and start. I got quite a few things. Thank you, Tony. Dedication to the Parks and Rec, that's gonna be a huge undertaking for you to get that started again. Love that the youth is getting involved. I think that's where it's at, and I like that. My other concern is, I don't know if we can even deal with this, the ordinance that Mr. Steib was speaking of for the cemetery. Our board has nothing. We didn't know anything about this. So if there's an ordinance that was changed or something changed out there, you can't take those things from family members, shepherd hooks, things they've always done out there without further communication. I'm not sure where that changed.
I'll talk about it in my time.
Okay. And again, yeah, and if there are things that need to be changed, it needs to come to the board. Rita, keep calling with your complaints, please. And then eventually something will get done. Flags. Do we have software, Joyce, that will print out an easier thing for Memorial Day to place flags for our veterans?
I do have a list,
Okay.
a veterans list.
Okay. Is that?
And I will give it, you're gonna be here tomorrow. I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. And then, the letter. I do think that we need to protect our trustee and our local residents on this situation. I would like to see a letter go to that gentleman to try to stop him from slandering our trustee or a township resident who did nothing. So I would like to see that letter. I don't know if anybody else agrees, got a problem with it. I think it should be done, and it should be done swiftly to shut him down. And we asked where all this information came from. I'm good. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask again, is the Bedford cleanup, Joyce, May 30th?
It is.
Okay, I just want to remind everyone of that. And that's all I
It's at
had.
Station 3.
Station 3. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Station 3 from 8 to noon. So as far as the cemetery, Mike, I'm glad that you brought it up. I did go out there today to see what had changed. It was very stark. There aren't very many things out there at all. The ordinance does say that we have a spring cleanup and a fall cleanup. So Thor's, his thought process is that all of the ordinance said you could have one flag staff, but no poles. That's the current one. However, I think that some graves just had shepherd's hook. I think we need to revisit it. I think we need to allow flexibility, and at least people are putting a flag up. People put a potted plant up. We have some that had created gardens with rocks and were growing bushes in front of their grave site. So some of those are a little bit, it needs to be more standard in that format, but I think there's room for compromise. So what Thor was doing, he said that he was trying to keep it safe. And when he is trying to weed whack around the different flag staffs and all of that, it would kick back at him. So he said it was, in the end, he could hurt his back. He felt like it was dangerous to have all these obstacles to weed whack around. I've never mowed a cemetery. I've never done the weed whipping at a cemetery. So I can't speak for that part, but when I asked him what was happening, he said, it says spring cleanup. And so he took everything, put it in the garage there. So some people have gone to him and said, I had a little metal chicken that was important to me, and he goes to the garage and gets a little metal chicken. But he was just he's a rule follower, trying to follow what he interpreted of. So I think now that it's clear, he'll do the first mow, and then I think that we should revisit the ordinance to make sure that it's fair and that it makes sense. And I mean, shepherd's hooks weren't a thing a long time ago, right?
If I may, the issue though is that we have two different ordinances posted out there.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Like the signs that are posted that everybody sees.
Correct.
Is a different set from the one in 81.
which is allowing for shepherd's hooks. So my issue again is that
Is what's posted and handwritten, so.
How we're enforcing it, and like we're choosing to enforce an ordinance that appears to not be in effect.
So
Is this Thor's first year out there?
He's been here a couple of years.
So did he get permission to remove all those?
He does fall, he.
Oh,
does clean up
he
and
didn't
spring
come and
cleanup.
ask the office or anything, I'm
No,
asking.
I found
Okay.
out when someone called and said,
I had a lot more to say about that. I can certainly elaborate more on the sequence of events that had happened after the meeting. I've already used my time, but I'm not, you know, I don't want to step on Joseph's time either.
yep, no, it wasn't, talked about beforehand. How I found out was people started coming to the window, asking or calling for their items. That's how I found out, so. Thank you. Okay, so I will have copies of the ordinance that, will get emailed to you between now and the next meeting so that we can all. Okay.
We'll put that on next month's agenda. Thank you.
Yeah, Memorial Day coming up and everything. I mean, do the residents know this change and, you know, I mean, that's.
So it wasn't a change, it was his interpretation. Nothing changed. Kevin always did spring cleanup, always did fall cleanup.
But did they take all the stuff down like?
I don't
Kevin,
recall him taking everything down, but when I asked him, he said it was for safety. He felt like all of these items were hard to mow around and that's what he said. That's his number one goal is safety.
It got taken down in the fall, but spring cleanup was just cleanup. They didn't remove anything in spring because it had already been taken down in the fall.
He said he had been taking it down, even now.
I can give more after the meeting.
Okay.
To anybody who is interested in a little bit more context of the sequence of events.
That's all I have.
Trustee Scott.
All right, thank you. First, I'm gonna start with an apology. Last month, I don't get heated towards any particular individuals, but I do get fired up over issues. I used a word during that I didn't appreciate being bannered around the previous month, and I do apologize for that. And I apologize to Treasurer Davis. I should not have said the word segregation. That was a low blow, and honestly, it was a low moment for me, and I won't do that again. For that, I kind of take a different take from some of my colleagues on the complaint from the citizen. I do believe that we should take all complaints seriously. That being said, not all complaints will be earnestly written, and we have to understand that as well. But all complaints should be investigated, I believe. But when we come to the end of that investigation, we should make a statement. And as a board, you know, I as a board member, I read the letter, I read the complaints. I didn't see anything where Trustee Bruce had broken his oath or acted in his own self-interest. It was really, unless something further comes to light, it was really kind of it was kind of a general complaint. But that being said, if I do something to somebody out there later, I would expect the township to investigate and make sure that I wasn't in the wrong. But when that's all said and done, I'd like to be cleared. So I would like to see us have a written policy on how we handle that going forward, and how we protect the reputation of those people who step up to serve, because I have had in this very room some very based accusations made about me that were completely untrue. And unfortunately, in my follow-up with law enforcement about that, I'm told that people can pretty much say what they want. And when they've got a mic or an audience, it goes around, and, you know, some of that stuff sticks around for a while. And, you know, I'd really like to see us protect those who stand up. Let's see. I'd like to thank Tony Artis, and, you know, God bless you for involving the youth. We find that with all of our youth organizations, the scouts, that is getting them in a service-minded mindset and getting them working for the community is amazing. And other than that, I'd just like to say thank Seth for coming out to be with us tonight, and appreciate your guidance. That's it.
Thank everyone for coming. Appreciate you coming, hope you keep coming. I guess, Seth, I would like you to do a letter too and find out what he meant by that, what he asked. And see where it goes. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I'll say this. I think people know it, but I'm gonna refresh your memories on it. And Seth, you could comment what I'm gonna say on this if you so choose. Unfortunately, when you are an elected official, we don't get the same protection as everyday citizens. They can lie on you and make any accusations. And when campaigns come, you're gonna get thrown in the mud. People are gonna say people eat kids and all kinds of stuff, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now we can poke the bear. The credibility of that complaint is irrelevant to me. I'm only speaking as one person on the board because I'm an elected official, and people are gonna write up stuff. And if you choose to believe it, hope you don't, especially if it's erroneous and it looks like lies and it's casting aspersions. I don't know how far you want to chase it, but that's just what I'm commenting on. The second thing I'm asking you is it a common practice that the township should put out to all FOIAs? The citizens need to see all FOIAs.
Oh, should they see all four?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a public record. I'm not aware of generally every FOIA request being like posted online for review. I haven't seen that.
I'm just asking, I mean, it was made, somebody put it out there, and I just want to know is that, I don't do the FOIAs, but I'm just asking, is that a common practice that you get all FOIAs and put them out there?
No, I haven't generally seen that. I mean, it's a policy decision.
Yeah. There was a resolution on the agenda.
Okay, so if the resolution is on the
been
agenda,
unpacked.
okay, we'll be framing it that way. If you wanted to put whatever was being appealed with it, then okay. But if that's okay.
And then I want to say, when I'm here, I don't have any problems with people wanting to know things, ask questions, debate, banter. I don't have to disagree, and I don't have to agree. That's what we're all up here to do. I'm sorry that sometimes, Mr. Johnson, why don't he just go along with somebody? I'm just saying that's what the board does. We haggle things out and hash things out. It doesn't make me a bad fellow or somebody else a bad fellow if we don't agree on something. Lastly, thank you, Mr. Peter. Accepted, but it's all in the past. I only go by today and what I can do tomorrow. I always try to put the past behind us. And I'm hoping that other folks, grown people, can do the same. See, what we've been missing here is there are some things that are in the works, things that are getting ready to happen. We were just waiting for construction season to get here. But nobody knows that we are doing good things in this township. Because all we do is, they don't see that. We're involved in some things that are coming up that everybody should be happy that's coming to our township. This guy that just came here, right there.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, Mr. Moore. That's a good thing coming up. And then the parks improvements and the pickleboards and the possible grants that we're going to get. All those things are something but we can't enjoy winning. We got to get on. We got to get away from it. We're good at criticizing. But when do we enjoy the good things? We don't even know any good things are coming because it's going in one out here and out the other. We can do better. Thank you. Move to adjourn.